Coming up, Roe versus Wade overturned. How Governor Burgum and an official from Planned Parenthood are responding tonight. A big change for the annual holiday lights display at Lindenwood Park. Why it won't be happening at the park this year. And a North Dakota casino pays out a big jackpot. Hello and welcome to the Nightly Review. I'm Tom Tucker. We begin with a look at tonight's headlines, then a closer look, with comments tonight from Senator John Hoeven talking about a major development for aerospace research at Grand Sky in Grand Forks. And in tonight's one-on-one conversation, how the Republican candidate for Attorney General in Minnesota is calling for public debates with the Democratic incumbent, Keith Ellision. But first tonight, North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum is responding after the U.S. Supreme Court today announced the ruling overturning Roe versus Wade. Burgum says the move returns power to the state where it belongs. An official with Planned Parenthood North Central State says the decision is wrong and will harm millions. The Supreme Court ruled 6-3 to overturn the measure, which had been law for more than a half century. North Dakota is one of 13 states with trigger laws that now make abortions immediately illegal. A 32-year-old Fargo woman may face criminal charges after she allegedly drove a pickup truck through a private hangar at Hector International Airport and struck two airplanes. It happened June 13th, just after 1:30 in the afternoon. We're told the driver, Rochelle Slotin, after going through the hangar, headed south on the taxiway, crashed through a chain-link fence and eventually crashed into a pickup truck parked on University. We're told Slotin was taken to a local hospital for evaluation. The annual holiday lights display in Fargo's Lindenwood Park will be held at the Red River Valley Fairgrounds in West Fargo beginning this year. The Red River Valley Fair Association announced the fair now owns and operates the holiday lights display. The holiday lights attraction had been operated by the Fargo-Moorhead Sertoma Club for more than 20 years in Lindenwood Park. The small city of Mapleton, just west of Fargo, is charging more for water users who exceed average water use levels. The move follows last year's drought.
Basically, all we did is we enacted a higher bill, I'll call it, per 1,000 gallons after you go over 20,000 gallons. So the bill will always be the same unless they go over that 20,000 gallon usage.
Councilmember Josh Radcliffe says the city's water tower was running low on water several times throughout last summer. He says the average user within the city uses around 6,000 gallons of water per billing period during high-use times, and he expects very few people will be hit with penalties moving forward. In Minnesota, there are now 9 lawsuits against Mayo Clinic for its coronavirus vaccine policies. More than 24 former Mayo employees have filed lawsuits after they say the clinic dismissed their religious concerns about the coronavirus vaccine. The lawsuits, which were filed over the past 2 months, say Mayo put itself in the position of deciding the sincerity of the religious beliefs of its workers. Mayo says it can and will defend its vaccine policy in court. North Dakota representatives are reacting after the U.S. Senate passed sweeping gun control legislation. Passing Thursday night, the legislation would increase background checks and add funding for mental health, school safety, and crisis intervention programs. The bill was supported by 50 Democrats and 15 Republicans, not including Senators John Hoeven and Kevin Cramer. Both said they have concerns about Second Amendment infringements. Governor Doug Burgum is requesting a presidential disaster declaration for spring storms and flooding that caused more than $57 million in damage across the state. The request, which has been sent to President Biden and FEMA, would cover 40 counties if approved. The declaration would free up federal dollars to help pay for damage to roads and other infrastructure. A big jackpot is being paid out by a North Dakota casino. Elton Spotted Horse of Mandaree played a $5.88 bet on a slot machine at Four Bears Casino and Lodge in Newtown last week. According to the casino, Spotted Horse was the winner of $1.6 million. And there's been a slight increase in North Dakota's birth rate. The state's increase is 0.5% compared to the 2020 rate. According to the CDC, it's the first time since 2014 that the birth rate has gone up in North Dakota and across the country. Special Olympics North Dakota is urgently requesting volunteers this weekend. The second leg of the 2022 Summer Games takes place in Fargo Saturday. The president of the organization says volunteer numbers have decreased. People who sign up are being told they'll have a positive impact on the athletes. To learn how to help, visit the site specialolympicsnd.org. In a closer look tonight, the Air Force is retiring its Global Hawk 30 fleet of planes, and the Grand Sky Research Park at the U.S. Air Force Base in Grand Forks is benefiting from the move.
This is a big win for the Grand Sky Technology Park and exactly what we were after when we changed the funding in defense appropriations in regard to Global Hawk.
U.S. Senator John Hoeven says the aircraft will be converted into Range Hawks for the Test Resource Management Center's Sky Range Hypersonic Missile Testing Program in Grand Forks.
When you look at it between Grand Sky Technology Park and the Grand Forks Air Force Base, we are going to be a big part of the development of hypersonics, the new ISR mission, and the satellite mission.
Hoeven says the aircraft will be used for hypersonic missile tests. He also says deploying the aircraft in Grand Forks is a sign the Air Force is committed to additional investments in the base from now through 2026. Well, we are glad you're choosing the Nightly Review as your source for news and information on all that is happening in the FM Metro and the surrounding region. To support our efforts, please take a moment to subscribe and hit the bell button below to make sure you're always up to date. Well, a lot going on weather-wise around the region tonight. Let's check in now with the guys in the Skywatch Weather Center for the latest on the forecast.
Thanks, Tom. As we head through the rest of this evening, we're going to see some scattered severe thunderstorms across the area as a larger line of storms push into the area close to 10 o'clock. The main concern with these will be damaging wind gusts up to 75 miles per hour or stronger, large hail up to 2 inches, and as well an isolated tornado being possible. After 1 a.m., we'll see that pushing out of our area, leaving us with just a slight chance for a few regular showers and thunderstorms as lows dip down close to 60 with windy conditions switching to the northwest. 15 to 30 and gusting up to 40. It will remain windy on Saturday and cooler with an isolated shower being possible, and more sunshine will return for Sunday. We're still remaining a little on the breezy side with highs recovering into the mid-70s.
You can spark hope for others. Now through June 30th, lighten the load of neighbors in crisis with a gift of $10 or more to the Lend a Hand Up Summer Boost campaign. All gifts will be distributed to boost help for local families, and the first 100 donors will receive a gift card to Star Fireworks. Learn more and give to the Summer Boost at lendahandup.org.
Lend a hand up.
Lend a Hand Up is community powered and guided by Dakota Medical Foundation.
Welcome back to the Nightly Review. My guest for the one-on-one conversation tonight is Minnesota Republican Attorney General candidate Jim Schultz. He's now challenging Democratic incumbent Attorney General Keith Ellision to a series of public debates covering a range of issues, including public safety, the cost of living, and consumer protection. I asked Schultz about his challenge after first asking him to comment on the recent endorsement he received from the state Republican Party.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's a great accomplishment for the team, and gives us a great path to beating Ellison. We worked really hard. We won this endorsement because we worked harder than everybody else, and we're doing it for a simple reason. Ensuring that we can deliver a new trajectory for the state of Minnesota. Keith Ellision has been a disaster for Minnesota, and it's just really important that we win this cycle. I tell my team failure is not an option. We absolutely have to win. It was great to get the endorsement, and really an honor to be entrusted with this by the local Republicans. And now we got to make sure that we win the general election.
It appears your message to voters is resonating. Otherwise, you would not have won that party endorsement. What are you hearing from voters when out campaigning in terms of the issues and topics that they're most concerned about?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. It's a lot of the things that the media doesn't love to cover. They like to talk. The media loves to talk about all these issues in Washington. Issues. These divisive issues that they're talking about. But what everybody else is talking about is how expensive the cost of living has become. How they are concerned for their safety, their family's safety, because in Minnesota we've had an extraordinary increase in crime here in recent years. These really these kitchen table issues that people are talking about every day of the week. That's what comes up with me when they're talking to me. And what I tell them is, on the crime front, we can have a different trajectory. Over the past couple of years, since really June of 2020, we've had this extraordinary increase in crime in the Twin Cities. I call it Twin Cities and Greater Minnesota. What I call it is a man-caused disaster, because you look at the policies that were embraced, things like defunding the police, things like the incredible revolving door that we've created where criminals aren't held accountable for the consequences of their actions, things like that. And, that didn't have to be that way. We could have aggressively prosecuted crime. We could have supported law enforcement, and we can do that going forward, and we can turn it around. But that crime issue comes up time and time again. The fact that people are paying $5, a tank for $1 or $5 a gallon for gas, things along those lines is really what people bring up to me day to day.
You have issued a challenge to Attorney General Keith Ellision for a series of public debates. What is his response to that?
He has not responded to it, and he should respond to it. The people of Minnesota are entitled to a robust debate on the issues that concern them. And what I think he would prefer to do is stay in his Attorney General's office, go out periodically and do these politicized press conferences, and otherwise hope that gets him through the election. But what he should do, people in Minnesota are entitled to a robust debate on the issues. And so we'd like to have two debates in the metro, 2 in Greater Minnesota, and allow people to come and hear it. Citizens deserve that, and I want to give it to them. And I'm very hopeful that Keith Ellision will do that. He should do it, and he should defend his record. It's an abysmal record, a record in which he's presided over the greatest increase in crime in decades, a record in which he's made Minnesota less free and less prosperous. And I look forward to debating him on those issues. And he should come forward, and we should have these debates through the summer. It'll be valuable for the state of Minnesota.
I'd like to thank Jim Schultz, the Republican candidate for Attorney General in the state of Minnesota, for joining me for tonight's one-on-one conversation. We have not yet received a statement from the Keith Ellision campaign in response to Schultz's request for public debates. Ellison's office has also not responded to my request for an interview for an update on his campaign for re-election. Well, that will do it for this Friday night, June 24th, 2022. I'm Tom Tucker. Thanks for watching the Nightly Review.